Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joji Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm One Jin.
We're going to talk about Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 1 and 2 today.
Yes, we've been waiting for this show for a long time.
I mean, I loved it. You know, a lot of what we said in the previous episode came to be. Not all of it, but there's a lot of things going on right now. And I think I understand why they dropped the first 2 episodes, though. Because both episodes are basically expositions.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. In terms of you know like the plot structure,
basically they're a setup for the whole season because now we got what's going on everywhere. We know what Lalo is planning to do. We know how Gus is reacting. We know how Nacho is thinking. We also know what Kim and Saul is trying to do and how that may lead to disaster. But we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. So I'm
spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert, by the way.
Every one of our podcasts has spoilers. All spoilers. Let's go. Yeah.
I'm very surprised that they were able to set up all this information for all these characters within just 2 episodes. And I think that was very efficient. And I love the way the first episode started. It was these people taking stuff from somebody's house. Turns out it's Saul Goodman's house. And I love the way that scene was composed in a way that it symbolizes Saul's eventual how can we say downfall? Yeah. And especially remember that tequila bottle top thing that Kim and him used to play around with. Oh, yeah. Remember that thing drops on the curb and it's completely just ignored and it's not even noticed by any of those workers there.
Yeah. It's a hint at things to come because I love the irony of Sal's house though, because at first I thought it was Lalo's house. Because it's basically like a drug cartel's house.
It's like so extravagant. That toilet. Yeah. I was like, wow, that is like some king stuff. And then. When the camera moves to the outside, we see what's really going on.
It's Albuquerque in New Mexico, and it's basically like the most gaudish cartel boss house I ever seen. So I think that's a good juxtaposition, because there's a lot of cartel story here going on. Oh, but before we go more, I love a lot of inside jokes that these episodes had because they're referencing Breaking Bad. Because, for instance, when Nacho and the twins are facing each other, the car in the rear is basically the callback to Mike, not Mike, but Hank and them fighting, right?
Ah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a huge hint drop where you guys dodged it this time, but we all know they're gonna get crushed by the car next time. And I think there was another one, but I can't remember right now. But there's a lot of like meta jokes here going on that this show is so good at.
And there's what's always brilliant and what always pleases me is all the things that are not told. Things that are not said. And while watching these 2 episodes, I was constantly going through all this process in my brain trying to figure out like the message behind these scenes and the implications of all the things that were happening in the show. And I think this is what always makes Better Call Saul stand out when we compare it to other shows.
And I think this season 6 is different from the previous seasons, is that it is completely conscious of that Breaking Bad is coming next. Because the different ones were, years past maybe, way before. But this one is basically immediately before Breaking Bad.
It's getting very close now. Maybe it might be happening at the same time as, like the beginning of, what's it called, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so like fans like you and me of this series, like will notice like all the Bosa and Gus conversation is funny to me. Because we basically know that they're not going to figure out what happened to Nacho or whatever. But so the question becomes like, what is Nacho? What's going to happen to Nacho?
Yeah.
That's one of the pressing things because season 1 and 2, hands down, even more than Lalo. I love Lalo, but like for me, more than Saul, like Nacho stole the show for me.
Yeah, and I think Nacho is gonna be what happens to Nacho and his struggle to survive is gonna be like one of the cores of this season.
Mm-hmm. I love the details with him and Mike's weird father and son relationship because, you know, I think they're weirdly loyal to each other.
Yeah,
because you know Nacho keeps calling Mike.
And you can see that although Nacho is completely unaware, but Mike is getting out, he's risking himself getting out of line to protect him and his father especially.
Yeah. I love that scene with when they manipulate the safe to trick the cartel. He sees the
father's
father
fake
son.
ID. Yeah, that's right.
And you know, if you're a fan of the series, you know that hits home for Mike because his thing has always been about his relationship with his son and how he failed him. You know, so this is a definite thing, like resonating with him, and we definitely feel Mike's torment because, you know, Mike like stepping up to Gus like that is, I found it a little odd, like out of character for Mike even, and I respect it because it's his own little rebellion. Because in the previous season, we get this feeling that, you know, no matter how Mike tries, he's completely dehumanized, first of all. He's now like a mechanical machine because he killed the German guy.
That's true.
And he upholds the principle of the street, basically, of what Gus is saying because he agrees with Gus's call. But here, he's reversing that street like principle.
Yeah. That's what was a little bit surprising for me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, is there any more line for you to not cross?
No, but I'm trying to say, like, he's still following the code, though. You know, because in the previous, like, season, I felt like he followed the code, so he had to shoot the German guy. Because, you know, the boss says, do this, and there are rules here, like, that they all agree to. And here, he tells Gus right away, wait a minute, though. Like, he was loyal to you. As much,
and he deserves your respect.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's like in character with Mike's principle. So I'm saying this principle can work both ways, and it's one of the reasons why I think Mike can like hold on to his individuality, and that's what we like about Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so like Mike stepping up to that. When I say odd, I'm not saying like it's odd for Mike to do that. It's totally in line with Mike doing that, but. It was odd that he can actually play that even now. We felt like he was down, but no. Mike got morals. Yeah, no matter how messed up moral.
I love that scene where they were switching out the safe. And I also love the way that episode started. That was the second episode, beginning of the second episode. We see these Nacho's girls, one of them playing dominoes at home. And like the moment we see Nacho's home and these girls hanging around, we instantly feel the danger that is about to come, and we see the the shadow move across the windows and stuff. But it takes a surprising turn. Mike comes up. He gives the girls an option to get out of this. I was expecting them to be like shot dead immediately on sight, and then he starts to get to work, like breaking the safe. So at that point, I was wondering, it's like, why are they cracking the safe? And then it turns out they were like planting fake evidence for what's his name, Bolsa? What's his name?
Yeah, Bolsa.
Yeah, Bolsa to pick up.
No, they were trying to pinpoint him to the motel, so that the cartel guys will kill him. So that because there's a lot of politics going on here, and basically everyone like in the cartel knows Nacho's a snitch.
Yeah. So until Mike opens the safe. And he empties out all the contents that was in the safe and switches out the ID and places this like letter in an envelope. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And this is what's always great about the show. It gives you an opportunity to think about what's going on. And, just standing there watching the show, trying to figure out what's going on, it always somehow keeps you encapsulated within the show.
It only made sense for me after the twins' attack was done. I had no idea how the twins found the motel, and there's a lot of like trickery going on here. Because like for those who don't know, who still don't get it, I think this is what's happening here. Because Gus doesn't want Ignacio to be like caught, but he can't kill him himself because if he kills Nacho himself, everyone will ask questions on why did you
kill him?
Yeah,
we need him alive.
Yeah, so the only way he can like get rid of this is for the cartel to accidentally kill Nacho. That's why Tyrus told Nacho to stay in the motel, but if someone comes and shoot first.
Yeah, you just shoot whoever walks in.
So basically, they wanted to do a suicide by cartel. You know how they do with the cops. So that's what's going on here. And I'll be honest, it was not a good plan. Like, I think like Mike saying we should get him and put him in a high. Why not just put him in a safe house?
That's true.
Yeah, you don't have to actually. As long as the cartel has no access to Nacho, they have suspicions.
But I like that little interaction between Nacho and the Watcher guy. You know, it kind of tells the audience of the intelligence that Nacho has. He's a very smart dude. He's very vigilant,
observant.
Yeah, observant and intelligent. And it also gives us the same opportunity to come to the same conclusion that Nacho had made. Because, you know, like there was AC. Like water dropping out from that little box. It tells us that the AC is running, obviously, and the windows are all
shut.
Yeah, shut. It's
boarded
like nailed shut. Yeah, boarded shut. So and there's like that small hole. So somebody's obviously watching. And remember how Nacho like confirmed that this guy was working under the order of Gus. Yeah, he makes that phone call to Tyrus saying that he can't take the shit anymore, and he declines the call that comes right after that, and he watches that phone ring, the Watcher guy's phone ring. I thought, wow, this guy's very clever.
That was really
and that gave me this conviction that Nacho's gonna make it out alive. Well, we'll have to see, but
I think Mike is definitely going down there because in episode 2, Mike tells Gus Nacho's a smart kid, but he's not going to last, so they're going to go. They got to go.
So Mike said, what, like 4 of his best guys, and let me get him.
And I think Gus is totally stressed out. He keeps breaking glasses, and then
I love the part where he cleans up right after. He like watches the broken glass for 2 seconds.
What caught me off guard is that he has a brush in his back pocket ready to be used anytime there's a dirt or something. No, Mike is definitely going down there. And then I think there's going to be some kind of dramatic scene where, Mike helps Nacho escape, and then we might see him in the last episode.
And we see Mike communicating with this guy, like the sniper guy outside. And remember the gun that he was carrying? That's like a 50 caliber, like the huge gun. I'm pretty sure that gun is coming to action later in the show. So? And it's gonna have massive firepower, and he's probably one of the guys that Mike is gonna take to save Nacho, and I'm pretty sure
I think he was in Breaking Bad too. He was like the traitor guy, or I could be wrong. But we still don't know what Nacho told Gus, because Nacho told Mike too. I want to speak to Gus.
Oh, that's right.
So we don't know like what the conversation is. There might be a deal, I think.
Or maybe, there was like a threat. It's like, if you touch my father, then I'm going to go straight to the cartel and tell them that you were the one, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it was like a threat.
I don't know, but I don't think he's going to do that, because that's suicide. After he tells cartel they're going to kill him and then kill his father. And because, there's going to be torture. Oh, now let's go to our favorite family, Salamanca.
Ah, yes, the Salamanca.
We talked about this. I knew they would do this stuff.
And I gotta start with Lalo. Remember the scene in the trailer where this guy was like washing his face, and Lalo was like waiting behind, and we see him in the reflection of the mirror. I saw that scene in the show, and at first I was like wondering, who is this guy? Because he looks so different. And later on I eventually realized, that was the guy with the beard. And then I was also like, I actually paused the show, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. It's like, why? Because remember that lady who made coffee for him? She was so nice. So it's like, I know that Lalo is a complete, sociopath. It's like sociopathic killer. We've seen him with his with the dude working for him in his house. He used him basically as a human shield. But why would he grab that part of the scissor to kill somebody? And then I later on realized Lalo made him shave. And the shot was showing us the reflection of both Lalo and the dude.
Yeah.
And clearly, later on, we see a dead body in Lalo's house with the white part of his hair.
Yeah.
And later, I realized that was the guy.
Yeah.
With the beard. So he killed him to fake his own death.
Yeah, no, that's a huge hint. There's a huge hint from the start because the woman thanks him for dental work, right?
Yeah.
So this is how conniving Lalo is. Just in case he needs to fake his death, he has one family around his territory, a guy, have the same teeth shape as him, because that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's why Gus is reported that the dead body had matching dental records.
Yeah, because dental records are the way to check
because it's a
people.
burn victim.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's like the most accurate one. But that was really well done.
Yeah, and I love how subtle everything was. I mean, they didn't even have to show us Lalo killing him.
No, there's a last line in the episode 2 that I like. When Kim comes back after threatening those tax scammers, Saul says wolves and sheep, right? So that's what huge. We talked about this, I think, in the last podcast. Because Salamanca families are basically, they're all wolves. Everybody else is expendable. Only Salamancas are all, I love you, Hector, Tio. And then, look at the way the cousins look at Lalo body.
Yeah. That's a great point that you pointed out, because that was, I think, the first time I've ever seen these twins have an emotional reaction to something. I think that's like the biggest show expression of emotion I've ever seen from the twins. Yeah. Not just from Better Call Saul, but also from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, we call them twins, but they're the cousins. We're sorry, but the way he put out his suit and covers his body, and then the Salamanca motto is shoot first, don't think. So they just go out and immediately look for, and then Gus says it right out, sangre por sangre, right? Blood for blood.
Blood for blood.
Yeah. And plus, I really appreciated, Lalo is different from the other, the cousins and Tuco, in that he actually, I think he respects his, uncle's wisdom. He keeps referring to him for counsel.
Yeah.
Because I don't think...
Although he can't even talk.
Yeah.
He somehow figures out a way to communicate with him.
Yeah, because in Breaking Bad, remember, Tuco was always high and yelling at his uncle for thinking the burrito is small or something. And we're not sure cousins can communicate. I think cousins are basically like avatars of the Salamanca code. Familia, everything. Sangre por sangre. They don't have any other thing going on. Kill. But Lalo is definitely... And I love how Lalo shows his emotions to his uncle too. Mi casa, tío. He came to my house, and then Hector is I love how Hector is so he's the chillest guy there. Ding, 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 ding.
He just rings the bell.
And Lalo, what is it, Theo? What is it? Do you have a plan? And then they're so in sync that even if Hector can't speak and has one bell, Lalo can guess what his uncle is thinking. What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I love the way that he was going through the alphabet and trying to figure out what was in his mind.
Yeah, yeah, so patient. That's the great thing about Lalo, isn't it?
Yeah, and remember, he had to be on that, what's it called, that truck run by the Coyotes.
Yeah, Coyotes.
Because he has to get across the border. So he was being rushed, but yet, for his uncle, he was always taking time. Very patient.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes Lalo a great fit for this series, too, I think. 'Cause I think the series is even a more patient series than Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
The payoff takes a lot of time. And Lalo is just so cunning, so manipulative. And I think I'm really not sure what the proof he's talking about is, though. I'm not really sure.
Me neither. And I think we're not intended to find out yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's keeping us...
Yeah, that was one thing that I could not even speculate, because what proof? And then I think it'll be a surprise, right?
Yeah, it just gave us a hint, because he didn't get across the border. It means that it's somewhere still in Mexico.
Or Lalo could be looking for Nacho. Because
maybe
Nacho
he himself is looking for Nacho. Or maybe might be, another surprise.
Yeah.
But we first, I think we have to appreciate the way the scene is shot. When the cousins discover Lalo's body, like that entire entrance of the cousins into the crime scene and to Lalo's body, without a single line, it already shows us the power the Salamancas have over that entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because remember, these are all cops, law enforcement agencies, like crime scene investigation. And these two, they don't even have to introduce themselves. They just walk in and they just make way for them. And I think it's also a very subtle and a very effective way of showing that this family has a lot of control over this area.
I mean, there's definitely that from the start, because Nacho is completely terrified of like the phone ringing and all these farmers. You have to assume they all call Lalo
Don Eduardo.
Don Eduardo. Thank you for all these largesses. And it takes a lot of hint at like real life, like drug cartels, like being a Robin Hood figure to their neighborhood, so to speak. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, was Lalo in the second episode? I think he was one question we also have is, after Kim and Saul drive away, there's somebody following them, right?
I was wondering who that would be. But I don't think it's Lalo, because remember, Lalo is still on the south of the border.
I think it could be I think it's like a Hamill's person or something. There's two possibilities.
Okay.
Either Hamill himself,
Hamlin?
Yeah, Hamlin himself to like counteract against Saul, or the cops think Saul lied about Guzman, Mr. Guzman, right?
Yeah. Oh, because remember, he had that encounter with the DA.
Yeah. So,
at the courthouse, and he mistakenly said Lalo instead of de Guzman, and they're thinking that something's fishy.
Yeah, Lalo is in his mind, so that's funny to me.
And I don't know. I just have this feeling that this is gonna spiral into Kim's, well, not demise, but tragedy of some sort.
Oh, it's gonna backfire.
Yeah, it's gonna backfire, because remember, what's his name? Chuck. Chuck said that Jimmy destroys everyone around him, and I think it's Kim's turn to be destroyed, and eventually, this thing is gonna backfire and it's gonna spiral completely out of control. And I'm thinking that in the worst case, she might die, but we've already speculated about this. But I think it's unlikely that she's gonna die. But I think she's gonna lose her bar license, and I have that feeling because we see how great a lawyer she is, and the show has been showing us how fit she is to become a lawyer, because she's doing a lot of things for what's it called? She's doing a lot of pro bono work.
Yeah.
And she's doing great at helping people who need assistance from like the skill set and experience that she has. And I think the irony is going to be that she's going to lose the license and Saul Goodman gets to keep the license.
That's actually a good prediction. I mean, there's nothing more tragic than that for Kim, right?
Yeah.
Because it's everything for her.
And she's a very good lawyer, unlike all the other lawyers we see in the show. She even quit that, what's it called, that law firm.
Yeah. So
she could spend more time doing pro bono work.
But she's definitely walking the road of evil right now. She's in complete, like, I think she always had that side, but Saul is just bringing it out on her more. And she's kind of encouraging him to become Saul too.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Jimmy is kind of upset by the direction that she's taking. Yet he's, I think, still very reluctant to speak up about it. And I think this is what's going to lead her into tragedy.
Maybe. I mean, Kim is definitely going full Ozark wife there. Like, what's her name? Yeah, she's completely.
What was her name? I forgot already. Wendy? Wendy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Yeah, she's going all Scarface. Get the coke. No, but anyway, all this have been exciting. I can't wait for season episode 3. I think this season is gonna be escalation. And the last episode, I think it's gonna just blow our mind.
Yeah,
whether they fuse Breaking Bad or like the timeline of the future.
Because Breaking Bad had a great finale. So I'm hoping that they would match or even exceed our expectations.
Did you see El Camino, that movie?
Oh, not yet.
Oh.
Is it any good?
Oh, man, you didn't see that?
Not yet.
Yeah, you have to compare whether you like the original ending or the one with... Because it's like basically one more episode of Jesse's... What happens after his drive.
He drives out.
Yeah. But anyway...
And before we wrap up, there are some other shots that I would like to appreciate, because remember when Jimmy encountered those the DA at the courthouse, I think he's kind of shook, and he walks into this empty courtroom. I love the way that scene was set, because remember that scene inside the courtroom, he walks straight into an exit. Remember, it says exit. It kind of symbolizes that he's getting more and more entangled, although he tries to get out of all this mess. And also the scene, remember when Lalo was trying to get on that truck run by the coyotes?
And then
and these people were getting in the truck, and you clearly see that the entrance it's cut out from that haystack, and it looks like a cross. And when these people walk in, and these two the coyotes, when they stand outside, you can clearly see that. Well, you can kind of predict that they're the ones having salvation.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're gonna keep their lives. The guys outside the cross, they're gonna die. I think that was a very nice touch. They did. I mean, it didn't need so much detail, especially if you consider like the portion that scene is gonna have in the entire episode. But I really appreciate the detail that goes into every shot.
It's one of those scenes where not showing is like better for our suspense, because we don't know what Lalo is doing to them, but we kind of assume it's horrible. Because this is a man who just killed two innocent people with a scissor, yet he's so polite to the woman, like, "Oh, give back everybody's money." It reminded me of Thanos' justice, like, okay, so you have a code, but I'm not really sure what it is.
And remember, before he killed them both, he said, "Remember, I told you to be nice."
And like, but Nacho's gun rampage was really also well filmed. If you're talking about scenes,
yeah, but that scene, that was intense. But one thing I didn't like about was it was too easy for Nacho to handle those gunners, because there were so many. Yeah, I thought it was a little unrealistic.
Yeah, double gun thing.
I mean, yeah, although they wanted him alive, I think that was a little too easy for him.
I mean, yeah, and then if you're gonna go nitpicking, the timing was really weird too. As soon as he, gets out, the Salamancas arrive. So no, but that's just for story's sake. My least favorite so far has actually been Gus.
Yeah,
as character wise, because
it's not impressive at all.
Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
For me, he's become very flat ever since the show started.
Because he's just like, oh, he's evil. The plan, and like that Hector, like visiting Hector and finding out Lalo alive line is also, I mean, in the context of the show, I guess it's smart, but. I don't know. It was the weakest part for me.
The only point in this entire series when Gus was interesting to me was when he was bullying and being nasty to his employee at the Los Pollos Hermanos.
Well, I don't want to say he was being bullied. Maybe a little nasty.
Yeah, because he was making him clean the frying utensils and stuff, and we clearly see that it's because he's frustrated. And that was like a way for him to lash out on other people. But yeah, that was the only part that kind of got me interested in what Gus was going through. But the rest,
here we see a lot.
All the rest was very flat.
Here we see his stress response, though. His stress response is a lot of tics going on and a lot of obsessive cleaning. So that's his definitely like stress response. So that's interesting. What I just didn't like is like how the overall plan backfired, and we have to assume that he gets out of it because he has to reach Breaking Bad. But if you think about it, it's not really that smart. Like, I don't think it was that smart. Like, I think he just fully expected Lalo to get killed. And, you know, but anyway, small flaw though. I'm not saying it was terrible.
I did like his interaction with Hector. And then after that meeting, he immediately tells Tyrus that Lalo Salamanca lives.
It's so funny how they think of Hector, because as soon as he's nice, they all assume he's
like something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Uncle Tio is happy.
There's no way that this son of a bitch is gonna be happy about it.
Yeah. And
a handshake.
And you know what's so funny too, though? That actor who plays Hector, he's a god at playing that role. Like, even better than the healthy, like, normal version of Hector. Like, his facial expression. And I love how he get annoyed when the nurse comes in and she's like, fuck off. And then he find out it's his nephew. He's like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, the character acting there is really, really on point. And, like, yeah. But, like, if you want to talk about, I'm also surprised at how stupid the cartel is too, though. Like, both sides, like, just like a walking around middle manager. Like, you know, like, maybe I wouldn't mind actually us getting introduced to more cartel characters. Because in Breaking Bad, remember how, like, Gus name dropped all these people when he was, like, taunting Hector with the necklace, right? So I mean,
we see them briefly at the party of Don Eladio. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded, like, a Pulp Fiction scene where Mr. Wolf comes in. Like, so Eladio,
like, take care of shit.
Yeah, Eladio's like, oh my god, send Don Ida, and then he, like, this big guy, whatever, you know.
This,
like,
dude flies straight in from Colombia and
yeah.
takes care of stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that wraps up our thoughts on episode 1 and 2. Next week we're gonna talk about episode 3.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to the next episode.
If you have your opinion, your theories, your speculation on what's gonna happen in season 6, please leave a reply or ask questions, and we'll definitely look into it and discuss it with you all together. Thank you. This was Joe.
This was One Jin.
See you next week.